His kids think he's a star athlete, but they're still very young. You're listening to Game Points with Matthew Ross on TSN Radio 690.
.36 on TSN 690. It's Game Points with Matthew Ross. We're here till 8 o'clock. Raceline Radio with Eric Thomas coming up at the top of the hour. Update in the basketball game. 45-37 right now. Virginia leading Syracuse in the NCAA Midwest Regional Final. That's 11:20 left in the second half. Make that 48-37 now for number one Virginia. We're talking some fantasy baseball right now, so let's bring in our expert.
It's time once again for Game Points to bring in the expert. Rotowire.com senior editor Jeff Erickson here to teach you more than what you learn at that fancy school of yours. So take the crayons out of your ears, shut up, and listen good. Here is Jeff Erickson.
It's been a while since you've heard that intro, haven't you, Jeff? Good to have you on the show. You can follow Jeff, by the way, Jeff_Erickson on Twitter.com. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Matthew. Always good to hear the theme music. You're, I think, definitely the first show and one of only two that really ever have had theme music for my appearances. So I always like that.
All right. Well, we gotta. Not that you need to build up, but it's fun. Jeff, lots of questions to get to. It's fantasy baseball season. I got my draft on Thursday night. Looking forward to that. Although my daughter's got a concert, so I'm told I can draft on the app. So I'm gonna have to manage that, but such is the life of a fantasy playing father.
Yes, sir. I'm cutting short. I'm leaving an amusement park trip on Friday. Kids are on spring break, just so I can get to a draft on time. So I can relate.
All right, Jeff, we got a question from Alex, a listener here. He wants your take on Miguel Sano of Minnesota, his value this year.
I like him. There's some risk involved. He's moving to the outfield, and I think it's going to be a little bit of a rough transition defensively, and sometimes you worry about guys that when they go and they switch positions defensively, how does that affect their offense a little bit? And he does strike out a decent amount, so that's also a small, tiny concern. But, hey, for the most part, the guy can flat-out rake. And the fact is he was able to cut down on that strikeout rate at the major league level, lay off a bunch of sliders, walked a ton. I think he has potential to be a monster.
All right. Your thoughts on Travis d'Arnaud this year of the Mets? Any high projections?
The thing I like about Travis d'Arnaud is he can hit for average. Not too many catchers can do that, and he's got a token amount of speed. He could be as good as the third or fourth catcher. I think he's definitely in the top 10.
All right, Mo's a Marlins fan, Mo.
Jose Fernandez, Jeff, what can I expect from him? Do I take him high in my draft this year, or do I wait till the mid-rounds to look at him?
Well, the thing about him is you're not going to get him mid-rounds. You're going to get him probably, it depends on the size of your league, but no later than the fourth round. Probably have to get him in the third round if you want to take him, in most standard leagues at least. I think that the thing about him that's a little worrisome is that he's got that innings limit. They're going to find ways to preserve him. They've got a plan. They're not going to go shut down Harvey on us or anything like that, but he might miss a day here, a day there. Might get, have a start get cut short, maybe an inning. When the game's out of hand one way or another. So that's something, he might pitch a few fewer innings.
All right. I want to know how excited we should be about a guy who's got 8 home runs right now in spring training. Maikel Franco of Philadelphia obviously had a pretty good 300 at-bats last year with 50 RBIs and 14 home runs, 280 average. But what's his ceiling this season, Jeff? How high are you going with these 8 home runs?
I think he's getting overdrafted because of the 8 home runs. He's great. I like his potential, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to be that good right now. But I thought that this would be a good year of improvement, and then next year you'd start moving him among the elite. But I saw him go in the 5th round yesterday in a draft I was doing. 15-team league, so it's a little bit bigger. But his price keeps on getting higher as the deeper we get into draft season. Good power, obviously. And this batting eye improved last year. I wonder if he can stay on the field. He's had some issues staying healthy, and I'm a little concerned about that.
Jeff, I was watching Dodgers Reds earlier today in Arizona. Is it buyer beware on Scott Van Slyke's production in spring training to say, let's take him and have him be one of our key guys this season?
I think it's going to be a platoon between Van Slyke and Carl Crawford until one of them or both get hurt. But, Ethier will come back mid-season. There are going to be a lot of moving parts for this team.
Chatting with Jeff Erickson from Rotowire.com, great website for all fantasy sports. Jeff, just looking at some of the spring training leaders because we want to know if it's fool's gold or maybe a sign of a trend. Pretty good spring training start for Wellington Castillo, catcher with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's got 433 average and just 30 at bats, obviously, but a pretty good start to his spring training. 16 RBIs as well. He's coming off a year that he did actually have 57 ribbies and almost 20 home runs.
Yeah, it's kind of a continuation on a theme. I like the power. I like that he can pound left-handers. Ballpark's great. The lineup should be pretty good. But it was just a year ago that he could barely stay on a team, too. Remember, the Cubs basically considered him their third or fourth catcher, traded him to the Mariners for almost nothing. The Mariners included him as part of a deal where they got Mark Trumbo. As we saw later on, that Mark Trumbo's value has kind of dissipated a little bit there, too. So, I kind of think that, he's a guy that has definitely seen his stock improve, and I want to have him, but I wouldn't bank on more than 20 homers this year. Counting on him for more than that, I think, is asking too much.
All right, how about elsewhere? Wanted to get your take on the great start that Juan Nicasio has had with Pittsburgh this year in spring training. He's 29 years old now. He's a guy who's had some moments in Major League Baseball. It's not like he's a newbie, but do you see anything that maybe gets you to pick this guy up as a sleeper or something like that if you need pitching in a deep league? Yeah,
I've grabbed him in a couple of leagues. I kind of think that you're looking at Ray Searage, the Pirates pitching coach, as the savior, a reclamation project of pitchers. I like John Neese for the same reason. And I think that, but Casio's obviously had the stats this spring. Sure, why not? This is a guy that spent most of his career in Colorado. And last year he was kind of an in-between role with the Dodgers. This year, who knows? Pittsburgh's a great place to play. You got a great pitching coach, and you've got the best defensive outfield in baseball. Three essential center fielders, basically, between Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, and Gregory Polanco.
Jeff, what's your take on Chris Davis of the Orioles? Great year last year. He's age 30. Do you think his production will drop off this year, given he's on the other side of the 3-0 mark?
Maybe a little bit. This was a big season, and naturally you'd expect a little bit of decline, right? So I think from that standpoint, yeah. And you always worry about a guy after he signs a big contract.
Jeff, what about Gavin Floyd with the Blue Jays? A guy, obviously a veteran's had a few wins so far in spring training. You expect him to do a little better than last year?
Well, if he can stay on the mound, and he gets hurt every year. That's the problem with him. He's a fifth starter candidate, and I'd rather see Aaron Sanchez out there every fifth day than Floyd, but we'll see what happens. What's your ceiling for Derek Holland of the Rangers this year? 3.6, 3.5 ERA maybe, 14 wins. It could be. He's another guy. I'd like to see him stay healthy for a full season. Jeff, I'm a Red Sox guy. I was hoping they would somehow find a way to get rid of Sandoval. Why? Because I love Travis Shaw, former, obviously the son of former Reds guy, you're a Reds guy, Jeff Shaw, and former Expo. He had a pretty good numbers last year for the Red Sox. I think he's got a lot of potential. Do you see Jeff Shaw maybe supplanting someone and getting a lot of at-bats this year? And do you think he's got some potential? Yeah, I think Travis Shaw can displace Pablo. The case of Sandoval, his contract is sunk. I mean, that cost is sunk. It's already paid for. You shouldn't feel if he's actively hurting the team and Shaw's a better alternative. You can't play Sandoval just because of his contract. That's already paid. That ship has sailed. Why hurt your team twice and have him take playing time away from a better player? I also think Brock Holt gets a little extra playing time on the same basis. Yeah, that's fair as well. All right, Jeff, give us a rookie. We need a rookie sleeper offensively, and obviously a pitcher this year that's definitely worth drafting that nobody's really going to be thinking about that could have a breakout. I'm going to give you three pitchers. Oh, all right, I'm getting how I roll. Okay. Jose Barrios in the Minnesota Twins, Blake Snell in the Tampa Bay Rays, and Tyler Glasnow on the Pittsburgh Pirates. All three will get called up by midseason and will make an impact. Hitter-wise, let's go Nomar Mazara for the Texas Rangers. He's already been sent down. All four of those guys have already been sent down, by the way. So they're not going to start the year in the majors. But In the case of Texas, Ian Desmond signed, and he's going to play left field for a while. But we'll see how long that lasts. We'll see if he can handle center, whether DeShields can repeat what he did last year, whether any of those outfielders in Texas can stay healthy. But Mazara's, when he's ready, he's going to bang down that door. Jose Barrios, the barrier is so small. I mean, you're really counting on Ricky Nolasco to hold him back? I don't think so. And they have like 3 pitchers he could replace as soon as he's ready. Glasnow in Pittsburgh, we've discussed how good Pittsburgh can be for their hitters to begin with. For their pitchers to begin with. And he's just got a lot of real talent. And Snell, I think he's waiting for the next Matt Moore injury.
All right, Jeff, and finally, happy Easter to you, sir. Really appreciate having you on. So good to talk with you, and good luck to your Reds this year. What's your projection for them?
Pain, but it's taking some necessary medicine for them. They're rebuilding like the Cubs and the Astros. Or at least they're hoping to be able to do that.
All right, well, thank you so much. Enjoy the baseball season. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Matthew.
All right, that was Jeff Erickson from Rotowire.com, a great fantasy sports website. Check him out, Rotowire.com, and Jeff_Erickson on Twitter. One more segment to come here on Game Points with Matthew Ross ahead of Raceline Radio with Eric Thomas. Don't miss it, though. We have, in our next segment, NFL news and notes, including our great useless moment in sports history. It's a good one. It's from Super Bowl 47. That's coming up next.